Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Super Cast Brothers, the Smash Brothers podcast that literally nobody listens to and wishes would stop existing. And to be honest, I don't blame them. I'm Zantok, otherwise known as Lister. Of course, as always, we got here Jonno, otherwise known as Jonathan, and then we have Turbotaxer, the man who can tell you what a juniper and a Rory taste like. What that is, you'll have to ask him yourself. What's up, guys?
What would a world populated by clones of you be like?
Horrible.
I mean, I feel like the shit would get done more. They'd be able to, there'd be some chaos, but it'd be organized chaos. Like, there'd at least be more. There'd at least be spreadsheets telling people how and what to do.
Very true. Everybody would play Final Fantasy XIV, and everybody would watch this podcast.
That's definitely not true. I do not watch this podcast.
What?
I can't watch my own content. Fuck that. Besides, I was there. Why would I watch it? Why do I need to hear myself? No. God, no. Fuck that.
Self-improvement?
Self-improvement on talking to the internet? No.
Yeah.
No, watching yourself do a sport that's recorded and trying to see, or a fight that you were in, trying to see what mistakes you made, how you can move. That's one thing. How can I improve talking?
Enunciation.
Fuck you. How's that for enunciation, motherfucker?
Much better. You're
Go
already
die.
improving. Gold star.
I'm gonna kill you.
For
legal reasons, that is
Be
a
my
joke.
guest.
Clones of Trevor. Everyone would know how to walk back and forth on a raised platform.
If there were
Much
more
better.
Trevors, everybody would play Earthbound.
If there were more Trevors, Earthbound and Mother would be respected series in this timeline.
Mother 3 would have been
Okay,
localized.
that's asking too much from the timeline. We're never getting Mother 3.
I mean, obviously, we're in the darkest timeline right now, so if we were
you're
in
not
the non-darkest timeline, we could have got it. We could have got it.
Reggie has said that it almost happened a couple times, but things came up and it just kept getting pushed off.
Well, I mean, Benifer is supposed to bring us back to 2004.
If Iwata hadn't died, we likely would have it.
Damn it!
Because they wanted to make
Just
it happen.
another reason why.
I would
Another reason why him being dead is bad.
Yes.
Yeah. But he's done a lot for this world.
There's a lot of people that shouldn't be dead. There's a lot of people that should be dead.
This is very true. Let's go down the list. This is the episode. Trevor, did you read the Iwata?
What's the name of the
autobiography?
CEO for Activision Blizzard?
Jerkhole McJerkface?
Yeah, that one. Put them on the list.
Wabi. Ooh, that guy does not look like a friend. He is looks like someone who would have terrorized Macaulay Culkin as a young boy. At best.
Well,
Anyway.
speaking of that, so let's get talking about shit that's not dumb. Smashtopia showcases what we like to do at the start of Smashtopia
Oh my
episodes.
god!
Now,
I just remembered the podcast that we were.
I was about to. Okay. Well, I was going to call it him first, but I guess we're going to jump to one of mine first. Cool. That's fine. So the thing that I'm going to talk about first for our Smashtopia showcases is this one. This is an item that I want to make an item for this series. I was just like, what the fuck can you even do with this series? And I was just scrolling through things like, all right, we're going to make something stupid. And this is the Falcon Mark II from the F-Zero. Specifically, it first appeared in F-Zero Maximum Velocity. It's the F-Zero machine that is piloted by Kent Akechi, who claims to be the son of Captain Falcon. So the Falcon M2, it's one of the big old F-Zero machines. How the fuck does this work as an item? You are likely wondering. Well, to that I say, are you familiar with the Bullet Bill item? How you pick it up and then you just use it in a direction, it just turns you into a bullet bill and fires you in a direction? Well, that's not how this works. But it is similar. So the Falcon M2 will appear on the stage as a small to scale model of the actual Falcon M2, kind of like people make model ships and whatnot. Uh, as an item, you can just pick it up and then you just throw it somewhere once you're ready to use it. Wherever the thing lands after being thrown, it will disappear. And after a couple seconds pass, the actual Falcon M2 F-Zero machine will speed through the stage and cause heavy damage to and knockback to anything in a line. The Falcon M2 is roughly about the size of Bowser, and it flies in the direction the model was thrown. So if you throw it downwards, then the actual machine will come flying downwards. If you throw it to the right, it'll fly from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen. Simple enough. An item from the F-Zero series. Never thought it'd happen, did you? I know Jonno had a what the fuck whenever I showed it to him the first time.
That was pretty interesting. Yeah, it's I like it. The F-Zero version of the bullet bill works a little bit differently.
Yeah.
It's simple and effective, and once again, just tapers on our meager and effete hopes and dreams for F-Zero to be revived one day, which won't ever happen. So,
Yeah.
cheers. It's a cool item. It's a cool item. I like it. Getting some nods from the Trevor gallery over here.
I just wish we had more
Fish.
F-Zero. I mean, we got the 64 game to play, but just...
Wait, what do you mean the 64 game
I
to
like,
play?
yeah.
It should be coming out on the Switch.
Oh, it's coming out. It is okay. I thought you were talking about the SNES version, which is on NSO. I gave that one a shot, and it was bad. It was not fun. I'm hoping the later ones are better.
I died a lot in that one, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I hear that GX is really, really good.
Yeah.
And I played...
We should do an episode like we did the Star Fox one. We're just like, okay, guys, how do we revive F-Zero?
Now that'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It would be. Captain Falcon Dating Simulator.
You also need to introduce a gotcha system for racers. And
half of them are waifus, yes. Just like Xenoblade 2.
Yes. Exactly. You get it.
I do get it.
Yeah, half of them are waifus, and the second half of them are all just Daisen.
I was gonna say they're all Captain Falcon clones.
Oh,
Captain Eagle.
Yeah,
Captain Eagle, Captain Falcon, Captain T-Hawk. It's just T-Hawk from Street Fighter, but in Captain Falcon's suit.
It's a crossover event, guys.
Yeah, it's like James McCloud all over again.
Mm-hmm. A good maybe quarter of the men on that roster anyway basically already are Captain Falcon clones, so just keep on going.
I mean, Ken Takechi, Rick Wheeler,
mm-hmm.
Blood Falcon,
mm-hmm. Blood Falcon,
Black Shadow.
Mm-hmm. They have characters that just look like him, like the guy with the green helmet, whose name I can't remember. Super Arrow, others, Phoenix.
Phoenix and QQQ.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Check them out on the Smashtopia wiki. Yeah.
Speaking of, John, what is your first Smashtopia showcase today?
Well, you know what they say back in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. It's a common phrase that they say is, things are about to get boggly. In the woods.
Okay.
As a part of the Smashtopia 365 project I'm committing to this year, one of your requests for me was Boggly Woods from Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, which was a fun old time. Took a little while to churn out. Now we're kind of on a stage groove now with Smashtopias, which I'm enjoying, and Boggly Woods kind of helped usher that in. So this is Jonno's stage era of Smashtopia 365, and it's a good time. So it's the Boggly Woods, the place you know and love, where Madame Flurry lives in a
Not one of the favorite
house.
chapters in the game for most
And
people.
Yeah, it's an interesting time. The Boggly tree is not there.
Yeah.
That was a pointed choice. We decided to kind of just make it that initial area where you're actually in the woods. And so I framed it like a diorama kind of, where, on either side and in the foreground and the background, you're seeing like different colored foliage and like punies running around that don't affect the battle. to kind of make it feel like this is a paper world. This is a fun time. Um, so generally, it's about the size of Battlefield, slightly longer. There's 3 central platforms that are held up by tree branches. There's a bunch of trees in the background, and throughout the match, the wind will blow. Hello, Flurry, prompting the trees to kind of shimmy around when they shift into new positions and move the platforms into different positions too. They can be in traditional layouts. They can be stilted in all sorts of random arrangements. So it freshens things up a little bit. Along those lines, the floors will also shift colors like they do in the Boggly Woods in the game, between like green and purple, blue, pink. So the floor will occasionally move like a conveyor belt, bring you one way or the other, for set periods of time. Also, occasionally, our friends the piters, which are spiders without an S, will come on down between the tree lines, and you can smack them into opponents by hitting them and cut down their webs and make them crawl around. That's kind of it. It's a good old time with our friends in the Boggly Woods. New Mexico is proud.
As you mentioned, Boggly Woods is one of the ones that I put in a request for you to do, because I give you a lot of requests just to like give you some things that you may not have thought about doing. And I picked Boggly Woods because when people think about like stages from 1,000 Year Door, everybody says Glitz Pit. If they don't say Glitz Pit, they say Rogue Port. If they don't say Rogue Port, they say the XS Express. And it's like, all right, I want to give something that wasn't one of those. Nobody really likes the Boggly Woods chapter. It's like, oh, that could be funny. And also just like the general aesthetic of it and the Poonies, I thought that would kind of speak to you as like something that's kind of like a new thing to work in. Because it's a very different looking place from the rest of the game.
Yeah, it looks great. It's a cool looking area. So
great. So, yes.
Yeah. Good old Punio, whatever you want to call him.
Punio, Punia, Petunia, the Puni Elder. They're out there.
Puni Elder is what they called me in high school.
Oh dear. Well, speaking of characters that aren't yet in high school, I think. Pretty sure they're not. I don't know. Trevor may have to correct me if I'm wrong here. Because this character is going to be an Earthbound character that I've got for you, Trevor. I picked them today because I know you're a huge fan. Previously on the podcast, we had Julian. We made a move for Porky and his big old spider mech. And then also on the wiki, I made a move for Ninten a couple years back, which was very much based off of Ness, but I gave him a few things that would be different just so we didn't have him be, kind of like how Fox, Falco, and Wolf are. They're all fucking the same character. So it made things to be a little bit different. But this character's another one of the party members from Earthbound. And you might be thinking, wouldn't they be difficult to do because all their moves are just the same moves that Ness uses? I was like, yes, but actually. Let's talk about Paula for a second, shall we?
All right.
So Paula is the main PSI user. The main damage-using PSI user in Earthbound. And all of Ness's attacks in Smash, he stole from her, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
So, Paula, I'm just going to try and make this as quick as I can, because characters have a lot of things to talk about. But her entrance, she uses teleport, and she appears in like a shower of sparkles and kind of like twirls in place when she appears. Kirby hat is obviously, the blonde hair and the red bow on top. Taunts, her up taunt is a fun one. She's going to face the screen and kind of like concentrate as a thought bubble appears above her head with the NES sprite of the face of one of the mini characters from Earthbound in it. So you could see, Ness, Jeff, or Pooh. You could see the Hint Man, Everdread, the Photo Man. Why not? They just appear really quickly in a thought bubble because, Paula's thinking about them. Her down taunt, her bow kind of like fall out of place a little bit, and she just reaches back up to fix it. And then her side taunt brings out the teddy bear item that she starts out the game with. I think that's... Yeah, she starts with the teddy bear, I believe. And she kind of just gives it a great big old hug before she gets back into the battle. Like, she needs a little reassurance because things are messy in Smash.
Oh.
Yeah. For her victory poses, for the first one, she has one where she'll face towards the screen, and she'll do just a simple curtsy and nod her head at the player. Her second victory pose, will be her spinning around as she holds the teddy bear by both arms as if she was dancing with it. And then her third one will be seen with her holding onto her frying pan, and she just taps on the ground a couple times before she takes a couple practice swings with it, like it's a baseball bat. She learned that from Ness, you know?
That's fun.
So here's the thing with her special moves. Ness uses, as we know, PK Flash, PK Fire, PK Thunder, and PK Shield. So Paula uses PK Fire, PK Shield, PK Thunder, and PK Freeze. Because she actually has Freeze, one of her moves, instead of Flash. But I made her use all those same moves in different ways than what Ness uses them as.
Oh.
So it's the same move. So Ness learned how to use them one way, but Paula is a master of these moves. So she can use them a bit more creatively than what Ness can do. So her standard special is PK Fire. She's going to hold up both of her hands to either side of her as she creates a small stream of fire that extends from her hands in both directions. So it hits to both sides of her. It doesn't go out too far. It's mainly just a melee range kind of a move, though. For her side special is PK Freeze. She will throw out, essentially, a bladed snowflake that soars through the air in kind of like a lazy fashion, kind of like a Duck Hunt's Discus move. If it hits a fighter or other such obstacles, it will burst out into a snowflake-shaped burst of ice energy that damages anybody in the blast. For her up special, this is going to be where we're a little bit wild. PK Shield is her up special.
What?
Yeah.
How? What? How does this work?
Let me tell you. So, a blue transition barrier appears underneath Paula as she uses it to create a barrier between her and the ground. This barrier pushes her up into the air because the barrier is just oh, I'm standing on the ground. Barrier forms. Oh, no, I'm not. So the barrier is essentially, it protects her from the ground, essentially is what I'm going for here. So it just kind of shoots her up into the air. As this happens, the barrier still forms around her entirely. And so this is essentially a counter-like shield as she jumps up into the air. So she can reflect projectiles during the jump.
Oh.
Like I said, Ness learns how to do these things, but Paula is a master of them. So she's a little bit more creative.
That's fun. That's fun. And as we all know in Smash Bros, gravity is definitely the ultimate enemy. So of course she'd want to be protected from the ground, right?
Exactly. For her down special, this is going to be where PK Thunder comes in. She's going to create a small sparkling orb of energy that hangs in place in the air. Just kind of sticks here. It will exist for a maximum of 5 seconds, after which it just fizzles out. But if an opponent gets within range of the electric orb, it will expand out and damage anyone nearby with a strong electrical attack. So it starts out small, but if you go get near it, explodes. It's a trap.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That seems like it has so many applications in terms of playing professionally, like setting up combos or setting up something to get somebody stuck into that and resetting things. That seems crazy.
Make the trap, throw somebody into it.
Oh man.
Exactly. Cool. Skipping the final smash, her extra skill is offense up. Fairly simple. A red field of energy will surround Paula as she channels the psychic capabilities of offense up, and for the next 4 seconds, she has a 1.5 times boost to the strength of all of her attacks. But once the effect fades away, she can't use it again for 10 seconds. Her final smash is Prey. Now, Turbo, as you know, Prey is kind of weird throughout most of Earthbound. It's just random shit. And is largely not something you really want to do when you just use PK Thunder.
Yeah.
But then it gets to the final boss fight, where Prey is essential. And if you don't do it, you can't win. That's what this final smash is based off of. And for this one, I'm going to read this in its entirety. Paula will bow her head in prayer, as a flash of pink energy starbursts out around her in a large radius. If any opponents are hit by this attack, they'll find themselves dragged away into a cinematic. In this cinematic final smash, the opposing fighters will be trapped in an area which looks like some kind of strange extra-dimensional landscape with the cosmos above their heads. Paula can be seen off in her own area, continuing to pray. As this occurs, 8-bit flashes of memories and characters will be seen cheering Paula on in the background, and as each group of characters flashes up on the screen, an effect will occur in the extra-dimensional plane affecting the opposing fighters. As the cinematic plays out, a rendition of Earthbound's 8 melodies can be heard. Here are the flashes and their effects. Number 1. A vision of Apple Kid and Dr. Antonuts will appear next to a group of Mr. Saturns. A meteor shower made up of Mr. Saturns will rain down from the sky and slam into the fighters. Number 2. A vision of the Runaway 5 will appear playing at the club, with the effect of the Runaway 5 will drive through the cosmos and crash their van into the fighters. Number 3. Paula's mother and father can be seen at their home, wishing their daughter well, which has the effect of a heart-shaped blast of pink energy which will explode around the fighters. Number 4. Tony, Jeff's friend, will appear at the orphanage taking care of the other kids. As this occurs, a lightning storm will rain down from the sky, electrocuting the fighters. Number 6. Pooh's master will be seen in Dalam, meditating alone in a room, causing a blizzard to roll in from the side, freezing the fighters in place. Number 6. Frank Fly is seen on his motorcycle, leading his gang on a race down the highway, which has the effect of a blaze of fire erupting below the fighters. Number 7. Ness's mother is seen petting their dog King, as Tracy opens the door and walks inside their home. A howl is heard, as King appears to lead a pack of animals to stampede over the fighters. Number 8. Darkness swallows up what would have been the 8th vision, as Paula looks troubled and uneasy. No further damage is dealt to the fighters, and they look relieved, as if they think they're safe. And then finally, number 9. Ness, Jeff, and Pooh all make their appearance at the end, cheering on Paula to victory as they shout her name. Paula's eyes will snap open as she deals the final attack herself, causing a beam of rainbow energy to erupt from her hands, which blasts into the fighters and sends them flying through a rip in the extra-dimensional plane and back into the Smash Bros. Fight, where the force of her final attack knocked them all away from her.
Wow. Now that is pretty cool.
I have to do a lot of research for that part to make it as as accurate as possible.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's amazing, Lister. Holy cow.
Gotta do it. Nothing else made sense. Any other things about Paula I have, all her costumes are just simple recolors, so, you know, blue, green, red, orange, purple, whatever. But her home stage is Tucson. Which was a stage that I did when we did our big stages episode back in season 1. That was one of the ones I did back then. And Everdread makes an appearance on that stage. So yeah, a poster for Paula. Eventually, I want to do Jeff and Pooh as well, but, you know, time.
Things, yeah. It's funny, even if you're doing a Smashtopia submission for every day of the year, there's literally years left in the backlog that you can also do, and it keeps growing, so it's just never going to get done. Ever.
Yep, accurate.
So, yeah, one of the most impressive final smashes on the site, though. Very meticulously crafted.
When I was making it, I wanted to make it a little bit different because I did not like having the ace section be nothing happens, but I figured out a way that I was happy with it, kind of like making the opponent think like, wait, is it over? Am I safe? No, bitch. No, you're not. The one thing I had to change about it was because in Earthbound, when prayer is used for the 9th time, it's the player who shouts out to the party. Like they realize that there's a player here guiding us, and I think they like shout out the name that you put in for the file or something, if I remember correctly. But obviously I couldn't do that for Smash, so I just made it be Ness, Jeff, and Pooh.
They could just shout out Turbotaxer.
No, nobody would.
Kind of like how Smash GIF is canonically tie the Tasmanian Tiger's home stage.
True. It fly through sky.
It does, and it will very soon. I'm gonna make that stage, expedite it. But that's not my final showcase for today.
Tell us.
My final showcase for today is another request of listers, actually from that same little request round of requests, called a good old buddy of ours named Shahodun, from the
Gesundheit.
epic one-eyed hero of Dynasty Warriors fame and Romance of the Three Kingdoms fame. An ode to our old friend Nobusawa from Super Smash Bros. Mercurius, the haiku master, who was obsessed with Dynasty Warriors and probably
Obsessed with
uploaded
Dynasty Warriors and
upwards
every
of
minor and terrible Fire Emblem character out there. Hey guys, do you want to make a moveset for Lacane? No? Oh well.
I wish he would have made one for like old Hubba if he were around a little longer.
Emperor Ionius.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah, you should.
So Shahodun, it's actually a cool. I had to do Dynasty Warriors or Samurai Warriors or Nobusawa. That just felt right.
It was the obvious choice.
Right and obvious. Yeah. So we went Dynasty Warriors. I forget who the other character was from Samurai Warriors you gave me. I think it was Mitsuhide Akechi or something.
Yeah.
Okay, but I went this route because I think he was slightly more obsessed with Dynasty Warriors. And I was like, hey, this guy has a lot up his sleeves. He's a dual scimitar wielder and has multiple other weapons you can pull from. So let's just dive into it real quick. He has a horse. I do enjoy the idea of forcing mounted units on people in Smash. That and stance changes, I think, right? So Shahodun comes riding in on his horse and leaps off of it, ready for battle. Simple. Kirby, when he swallows this man, gets his hair and his beard and his eye patch, and looks amazing. Some of these taunts were shifted around from what Nobusawa had on Mercurius just a little bit, using some epic Dynasty Warriors quotes, such as his up taunt. Shahodun readjusts his eye patch while saying with a lilt, "Don't be embarrassed because I have one eye." He wasn't embarrassed when he ate it on the battlefield, so. So simple enough, right?
I need a second after that one. Oh boy.
His down taunt.
Boy?
He slips both of his scimitars back into their scabbards and scoffs at his foes like, His side taunt. Shahodun performs a series of impressive scimitar swings as he shouts, "I cannot allow you to win."
Okay, well, I can't allow you to win.
Yeah. Victory poses. Shahodun has his back turned towards the camera, his front only slightly in view as he is seen polishing his eye patch. He places it back over his head and turns slightly to stare towards the camera.
Does he also eat his eye?
That happened a long time ago. We worked it out in therapy.
Oh.
Yeah. Number 2, he swings both of his scimitars in unison, kind of on the other side of him, so like before resting in a stiff battle stance. And then this expressive quote. He says, "My lord's road to conquest is not so fragile that a fool like you can damage it." That's another thing. He's obsessed with Cao Cao, his cousin. And then thirdly, Shahodun whirs in on his horse, galloping to the side of the camera as he swings his club downward. So a club is one of the other weapons he has in here. Spoiler alert. Getting into the specials. First special is the Muso arrow. So he has this fairly large war bow, maybe the size of a harp, and he knocks an arrow out, into place, and he shoots it out, and it's like a heavier arrow that travels similarly to Link's arrows. Charge at midway, and it becomes a charge shot, so it's surrounded by a blue energy, and it travels straight, more like Pitt's arrows, and travels about as far as final destination. It's easy to telegraph, but it deals some good shield damage, just like Muso attacks do in Dynasty Warriors. A full charge will see the arrow become a Muso arrow, however, which is a gold energy arrow, and it knocks multiple enemies down in a focus attack like stun, like Ryu's focus attack, all at once. So it goes bam, 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 straight through people. Side special is Arrow Breaker. He can't break. Maybe he can break his own arrows with this move. Let's see. So this is one of the ones that was adapted from Nobusawa's actual moveset that he did for this character a long time ago. So cheers to salvaging anything Nobusawa ever did.
Wow. We just lost
yeah.
him as a viewer.
that's Brawlinator, we're counting on you. Shahodun performs an upwards or downward slant thrust kick, depending on controller input. If you connect with an opponent, he kicks them before grappling them and tosses them onto the ground with his foot. But he can also batter away several projectiles with this kick too. So it's called Arrow Breaker for a reason. He can deflect most arrows, including his own and some other energy-based projectiles like Fox's Blaster, for instance, send it right back to him with a kick. He'll either disarm it or dispel it, depending on the specific projectile. Like, say, Mario's Fireball would probably be just disintegrated. The same can be said for most items. And then as a grappling move, like a grab, it'll override shields when it's used. Up special is the Speed Muso, where he swaps his scimitars out for a scythe. And he flies upwards with multiple slices in the blink of an eye. And it can be stacked in 3 times in any direction, like Pikachu's quick attack. Except he dishes out wind-based damage instead of electricity-based damage is what the moves. Gusts follow him as he dances upwards with the scythe. A little bit of wind movement. That's about it. Down special is Renbu Club, where he takes out his Renbu Club and he swings it around in like a 180-degree turn, so like around his torso like this, and then above his head, and he slams it onto the ground. Really heavy attack, fairly simple. It kicks up dust and shrapnel from the ground that can like rack up damage as well. It's similar to like Byleth's down special, except with the initial come up, you're having this moment where he's able to deflect certain attacks too. Final Smash is also something lifted from Nobusawa because it is his finisher in Dynasty Warriors, so it makes sense. We adapted it. It has the catchy name, Phoenix Flying Death Destruction. Yes, I too had those thoughts when I was 13. So, Shahodun lifts both of his scimitars into the air in an X pattern, so proclaiming, "Now for some sport." He then tosses each scimitar to his left or right. They fly upwards in both directions, and if an opponent is caught by these scimitars, they will return with the foes attached to them into his hands, and then he just slices them up. And as he's encouraging this combo, the Warriors-esque kind of counter graphic appears as like 9,999 hits. And then as the move comes to an end, very importantly, he says, "This fixes a path for Cao Cao's vision." Extra skill. Shaho's steed. He whistles and his trusty horse returns to the fray. So, his extra skill allows him to ride his horse around the battlefield. Yes. While he has less moves at his disposal while riding the horse, he's able to use variations of Muso Arrow and multiple standard attacks, as well as his down special. At full speed, the horse can move roughly twice as much as his top speed on foot. Opponents can knock him from off of the horse's back. But the horse also acts like a damage sponge, kind of like Yoshi in Super Mario World. If he leaves the horse on stage without mounting it, so you have to actually jump up on the horse, it eventually leaves of its own accord, but it follows him around for 10 seconds too, and it will kick opponents and trail him like Nana would. Bada bing, bada boom. 10-second cooldown on that. Unique traits. Shahodun can duck walk. Very important to put that in there. His
If you
ultimate
press-
costumes are based off of other... What was that?
If you press down, you can do the duck walk.
Just about. Yes, correct, Quantum. Thank you.
You ever heard of Legend of Zelda: The Faces of Evil?
Heard of? Yes. Seen? No.
Oh, we
It-
watched
it's-
all of it.
It's what Link says in the tutorial for it. If you press down, you can make me do the duck walk.
And his alternate costumes are based off of other generals in Dynasty Warriors. You've got your Cao, you've got your Shaoyan, you've got your Guan Yu, your Guan Shu, Dong Shou, Cao
Bless
Ren,
you.
Yan Wei, Shu Shu, and Chen Gong.
Did I hear you say John Wayne?
I think he said Shin Gong.
I swear I heard John Wayne at some point.
If John Wayne were in here, I guess it would just be another nationalist.
Jesus.
Um,
What's the
That'd be
home
a
state?
wild video game.
what was that?
What's the home
That would
state?
be a wild video.
Yeah, right. It-
Just
and
get-
lastly,
Just get a Warriors
Sorry?
game with like all the Western character stars from all those movies.
oh god,
All American
Yeah,
Warriors.
show up like
Yeah,
50 times.
yeah. There you go.
Oh my god. Oh no. Oh,
Everything
Now it shows
stereotypical
up.
America is in it.
I'm playing down the Walker, Texas Ranger path.
And I'll be Woody.
You got a friend in me.
I'll be a McDonald's cheeseburger.
That is the main
Garfield
character.
is American.
Yeah. It's actually the crossover OC character.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that's how they're getting all the money to make Muso games.
Exactly. All right, Jonah, would you say the home stage was for this guy?
It is Hulao Gate. Where
Yes. Which is not
the-
on the wiki yet.
It is not on the wiki yet, no. But it is the place where he famously loses his eye and then eats it.
Okay. Maybe he's
Yeah,
not over it yet.
It's
and
going to
he's
be a
after
good time.
all. Alrighty then.
Maybe there'll be
Well,
a cinematic.
Moving on
Yeah.
to a character that doesn't eat his own eyeball. Let's get into the character that we're actually here to discuss today. We said it the last
Whoa.
episode. I mean, I don't know why I always was teased this because it's in the fucking title. But we're talking about Crono today from Chrono Trigger. I almost said Chrono Cross because that's the game I'm more familiar with. But Crono, he starts out as just like a simple kid. He's going to the fair, and then, hey, where'd the girl I was hanging out with go? That's weird. I'm gonna jump in that
Happens to me
portal.
all the time.
And then all of a sudden he becomes a time traveling hero who doesn't talk because
Yeah.
that was just the thing back then. Oh, you're the main character? You don't talk. Especially in an RPG. And Chrono Trigger is considered to be one of the best RPGs of its time.
Oh, yeah.
When we were talking about what Square Enix character we'd like to do, we wanted to stay away from Final Fantasy because, well, they already have 2 in Smash. Even though, we could have gotten a character that's not from 7.
Two.
We wanted to do a character from a series that hadn't been wrapped yet. And when it comes to the Square Enix, it pretty much came down to either doing Chrono or Lara Croft. We've opted for Chrono.
Mhm.
So we've got our 3 movesets here. We're going to talk about them all as we always do. And at a certain point, I'm going to start crying because it's always painful to start cutting things down, especially with the guests, because now we have triple the content. Oh boy.
We can do it, team.
Sure. In that case, John, why don't you start us off with what your entrance animation is for our time traveling boy?
Okay. Speaking of time traveling, in Chrono Trigger, you travel through time gates at the portals that Lister just mentioned.
Yep.
Naturally, a time gate opens and Chrono leaps out from it and he's ready for battle. Done.
Well, for my entrance animation, a time gate will appear on the stage as Chrono time travels to the start of the match. And as Chrono steps out of the time gate, it just closes behind him. Turbo.
There you go.
How does your time gate work?
See, this is also what I had planned. I also thought about having him come out of a time gate and then having it slowly, but with the Mode 7 graphics that were distinctly Super Nintendo.
Oh yeah, my
Have
the
it all
vision I had
pixelated?
is like it's the 16-bit graphic time gate.
Yeah,
100%.
like he as he's walking out, he's still 16-bit, and then
Oh.
once he steps onto the stage, he sort of high reses into Smash form was what I was thinking of.
Okay, I had him
The
just
sweet
appear as his
baby
3D
Jones.
form, but out of a 16-bit portal.
I kind of like Trevor's idea because you can say that he himself, it's an expose on him time traveling into becoming 3D.
Fair enough.
That's
That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Got 1 point right out of the gate. The
All
time
right,
gate.
sweet. Kirby hat, always easy. So
Yep.
it's gonna be his hair with the bandana, right? Specifically the white band, not the yellow scarf. Is what I have down.
I mean, yeah, I also included the eyebrows but for my
God.
idea. It's gotta be the eyebrows.
I mean,
too.
I'm not opposed to that because Akira Toriyama has very distinct character design, and the eyebrows are very
Mhm.
distinctly Akira Toriyama.
Oh yeah.
Jonna?
Very distinct. Yeah, they are very distinct, mildly ugly, but better than like the gerbil creatures on the front of those children's books here in America. Yeah, getting into our taunts. Let's see, what's our first taunt today?
Well, first of all, I'm noticing that I spelled his
I
name
don't
with an
know.
H in the taunt, so I'm gonna fix that in my notes real quick. It's
Yes,
an
you
easy
better
thing to
fix
do
that.
when the game is Chrono with CHRONO, but then
I
the
know,
character is Chrono with CRONO. It's like, what the fuck?
It's such a trip.
It's
But
God.
maybe
time
it was
trip.
character limits, but it's just like it's
If it's
annoying.
character limits, then-
Research.
Actually, no character has more than 5 letters in their name for the main characters. Actually, now that I think about it, they're all
No.
5 letters or less.
Frog, Robo, Luca,
Did
Maria,
you say Rob?
Robo.
You said Rob and then you said Robo.
It's Robo.
Because Chrono, Maro, Luca, Robo, Ayla, Frog, Magus. Yeah, they're all 4 or 5 letters. So maybe it is a character limit thing. No. Actually, is anybody in Chrono Cross more than 5 letters?
I don't think so either. What we got? What Surge? Surge is 5. Kid.
Surge, Lynx, Kid, Harl, Guile, Nikki, Viper, Pip. I think there might be somebody, but they're not coming to mind.
Radius or
You're right, Radius, that's 6 letters. Okay, we got that solved. We can move on now. First taunt. Crono will stand up on his tippy toes and raise his hands up into the air as magical energy swirls above him before it peters out uselessly. It's his casting magic animation.
Nice.
all right. So for mine, I had him tripping, stumbling, falling into a time portal, and then coming right back out above, dropping right where he was.
For a taunt?
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay,
No.
everybody. For my friend,
We're not doing
Jono's
this.
first
We're
taunt.
not doing this.
Chrono sheaths his
Stop it.
katana, faces the screen, and pumps his right arm up while leaping into the air, almost as if He had
No.
seen a ripe plate of lasagna.
No, we're not doing this. We are not doing this. No Garfield.
Oh,
Crono sheaths his
not
sword.
today. Huh?
That's your taunt.
No,
Alright,
and
my
then
second
he
taunt.
throws his
Crono
arm
will
up in
quickly
the air
unsheath his
because
sword.
it's his
I'm gonna mute
victory
you. I am
pose.
muting you.
Yeah,
I'm muting you.
that's
He's muted now. Ah, it feels good. Jesus Christ. I'm not doing that. No. For my second taunt, Crono's going to quickly unsheath his sword and look at it as it shines with holy light before he resheaths it.
Just run a chaotic stream of it.
Trevor, what's your second taunt?
I'm sorry, it's very distracting to have Jonathan droning in the background while I'm trying. Okay.
You can mute him too.
That is a good point. That is a good point. For my second taunt, I envisioned Crono playing with a little bit of the lightning slash light energy that he gained midway through the game, and just kind of shooting a bit of a spark at the ground.
All right.
You know, I like the fun.
So you have one where he just like shoots a spark at the ground from like he's like essentially he's practicing with his magic. Where I have it just like he's channeling it above his head.
Yeah.
Okay. Jonno, what is your second taunt?
Let me pass the microphone back to Jonno.
Thank you.
Oh, hey, what's up? So, where is my Crono? Oh, there it is. Yes, Crono impersonates a chicken, balking as he turns back and forth.
You ran out of ideas, didn't you?
No, it's an animation from the
Bullshit.
fair.
Bullshit.
It's an animation. From the fair. The
Bullshit.
first thing was his victory animation, and this is an animation from the fair.
For my third taunt, Crono will look shocked, maybe with a twinge of fear, in his widened eyes as he leans back with his arms held up above his hands, or up above his head, similar to one of the sprites he has in Chrono Trigger, where he's just like, "Oh my god, what?"
That was also my third taunt, so I'm going to spitball one.
Okay.
Right off the top of the dome piece here. So, shoot, spitball, Trevor, spitball.
Chrono
You want me to
spitballs
spell mine out for
somebody.
you?
Chrono pole dances.
One of Chrono's fellow adventures through the game appears alongside, and he
Smacks their bottom.
tries to chat, but only ... comes up as they talk to him.
Okay. Jonno, what
Okay,
is
there
your
you go.
third taunt?
Crono spins around before dramatically falling to the floor, and then he props himself back up a moment later.
Okay.
Another thing, yeah.
Now let's get to the victory poses. So you had this as a taunt. No. But my first victory pose for Crono is that he's going to crouch land in place a couple times as he pumps his fist up in the air, just like his victory animation in Chrono Trigger. Makes sense for
There you
victory
go.
animation.
It sure does.
That was also what I went with for one.
Okay, very good.
So we all
Very
did
good.
that, but one of us did it for a taunt instead of a victory pose.
Right.
It's iconic.
Okay, so my first victory pose is that Crono has his sword sheathed and rested at his side as he snores at a campfire with two of his allies from his party.
All right. For my second one, you guys remember the races that occur in the Millennial Fair? And how one of
Yeah.
them is a cat?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
the orange cat from the Millennial Fair races, named Cadillac. Not like the car. It'll run in from the screen as Crono chases after them. Crono will catch up to them about midway through the screen, grab Cadillac, and then hold them up above his head. Kind of like how in Zelda, you know, when you open the chest and you get a cool item, and Link's just like, ha 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 ha. It's that, but with the cat.
All right, for my
Yeah.
second one. Oh, were you going, Jonathan?
Nope, it's you.
No,
Go for it.
no, go for
Okay.
it.
Cool. For my second one, I have the camera angling downward, looking up as Crono drops with a katana slash from the sky, and then drops into a squatting cool pose like you would see in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, as he's like,
You want to demonstrate that pose for those of us who don't know the show? Okay. All right.
Okay.
Fucking nerd.
Nice.
Jonno, what's your second victory pose?
Um, Crono runs towards an open time gate that is opened from behind him. Wielding a gate key, he closes the gate as he makes his way out.
Okay. So
Done.
he's escaping from the victory animation through time.
Yep.
Okay. For my third one, Crono's going to spin in place with the sword, creating a cyclone of winds around him a couple times. After a couple seconds of him doing this, Crono will pause when he faces the screen again and slashes his sword to dissipate the wind. So, spin real quick, create a tornado, and then slash to get rid of it.
Nice.
my third one has him entering his home in 1000 AD, running up, jumping quickly into his bed, and falling asleep immediately.
Very
All right.
nice. Okay, my third one. A time gate opens again beside Crono, and another Crono comes running out of it. They look at each other with their mouths agape.
That's good.
All right.
It is a
So-
callback towards something.
It is.
I don't know what that something is. Apparently I did not get far enough in Chrono Trigger, or just don't remember it. Because I know I got to a point where I just got lost and I couldn't figure out what the fuck to do next, so I just stopped playing. It's like I was even trying to use a guide to figure it out. It's like, oh man, I can't figure out what I'm missing. Fuck it, I'm moving on to another game.
If you get to play it again, you should definitely try to get to that point and see what it's about. It's pretty interesting
can-
with the plot.
I can give you a quick rundown of why that was a taunt, so to give it context.
Go for it.
I mean, it's spoilers for a 30-year-old game, but
Skip a minute ahead if you don't want spoilers.
Spoiler alert!
just about, yes. So, Crono dies.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, and then they basically build a freaking tulpa out of him, and therefore there are two Cronos, and we have Schrodinger's Crono. Done.
They use a device called the Chrono Trigger to go and pull.
Yeah.
They swap his double for him and sacrificing himself back in the past.
Wow, that's rude.
That way he's suddenly not dead anymore.
Yep.
Okay. That breaks the rules of time travel, but okay.
It's some real hyperbolic time chamber stuff going on there.
There's something. All right, so we got 9 victory poses. We got to condense this down to 3 each. Any initial thoughts? The main thing I figured is that, okay, we all said the one with his victory animation, so I figured that's going to be somewhere. Just whether or not it's a taunt or a victory pose is kind of up in the air. Personally, I think it should be a victory pose, just like it was in Chrono Trigger. But what do you guys think?
I get it.
English.
I agree, yes.
Okay. Trevor?
I would also concur with that. I like that as victory pose 1. It makes me feel good having played the game and seeing that victory pose. Just that nostalgia.
English.
Nostalgia good.
I
Your
like
thing's bad.
taunt it good. Be happy, see.
All right. Do we have any other strong leans on anything that we like? I know I like Jonno's where he goes into the time portal and leaves the victory animation. He's just like, all right, I did my thing. I'm out. Bye. But I don't know if we want to have 2 that use the time portal. It's the only thing.
Mm-hmm.
What if we had one that did that and then split into different time frames doing different things on a random chance?
That's just an extra victory pose.
True.
So you add on to the bed one that you did that and have them visiting each time period, basically. And
Like racing
Right.
cars with that motorcycle centaur guy in the future, or
Carl, yeah.
So and so.
The only thing is, the victory poses aren't long.
That's true. You don't
Like
need a
wait,
whole lot of time.
yeah, it's a few seconds.
Yeah, I mean, you just show like them on a road, or him sleeping, or him in front of a campfire for like the prehistoric time. Doesn't have to be a whole lot. 3 seconds. That's doable. It only takes half a second to animate going out of the portal.
Okay, well, we're saying here that this animation is he goes from the victory screen into a portal, and we show another period that's randomly chosen, and he's just seeing that period, or
Doing something in it, but it's a static screen, like where he's at, so therefore it would loop the animation right after, cutting the actual like animated time to 3 seconds and just looping that part of the animation while the stats are going in the foreground. I feel like I've confused everybody.
I'm trying to picture this in my head, and it's not gelling. It's like I'm not seeing how he goes into a portal, and it's like the whole screen changes. 'Cause that's not how the portal works. I'm not envisioning this right.
Maybe it's something we can workshop off podcast and writing, and then maybe for the sake of the podcast and brevity, we can just choose
I think
another couple for now, and if we want to revisit it, yeah.
the only way I'm seeing it work in my head is if we already are seeing one of these locations, and a time portal opens and Crono comes out of it and like goes back home or something. That's the only thing that's working in my head.
If you
Like we skip him leaving the victory animation entirely, he just appears in one of the other places.
if you make the portal expand and then fade to white, then you can immediately put something in. But yeah, Jonathan's right. We can workshop it later.
Okay. All right. What else do we have?
Let's see. I like the one of him disappearing in the time gate. On my side, we also had the campfire one, and the Chrono double one. And that's kind of what I'm blanking on because I forgot everybody else's.
I had the one where he catches the racing cat from the Millennial Fair, and then him having like the swirling tornado that he just cuts his way through.
Okay, gotcha. And then Trevor, what were yours again?
Mine was first one was the same as Lister's. The second one was going to the portal and going home, and third one was what? What did I write down? I think that's where I lost the sauce on.
Oh, okay.
It's because you did the one you had to come up with one off the top of your head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're dealing with
I
guess 6.
Here's what I'm liking. First of all, I mean, I like my cat one. I think that's funny, but I also like the idea of him like we see his house, we see his home, and he portals into it. And he just like plops onto bed. It's like fuck, I'm tired. But also, I kind of like that same idea, but with the campfire where he portals in and he sees two of his allies, probably Marl and Luca, because they're the main two, and they're like sleeping next to a campfire. He just goes like, "Yeah, that looks like a good idea," and he just leans against a rock and falls asleep.
Sure. Both are fairly prevalent in the game. I'm not sure which one we'd lean towards. I agree that pretty much just one would fit the bill there because they both are him sleeping.
Yeah.
Trevor, which one do you have a lean on? And I'm cool with either one making it forward. So
honestly, having the campfire with 2 other characters from the game seems like it's a bit more of an homage to like the actual gameplay story, whereas like Crono's house is not necessarily featured that much.
Yeah.
So I
Chrono's
would
house
prefer to
belongs to bed in
yours.
its
I
own
don't think the
bed.
story ever takes you back to his house, does it? Nah,
Not that I recall.
I didn't think so.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
Alright.
So campfire it is.
So we got warping to the campfire, unless we don't want to make it be a warp and he just sleep in there, and then the fist pump. Third victory pose.
Yeah. Oh, buddy. Cat.
Cat's fun.
Okay,
Cat.
cat it is.
Mhm.
Cat attack.
It could
Or
be one
Cadillac.
of Trevor and Courtney's cats.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's just Cadillac from the race.
Crono
Yeah.
catches Rory.
Nope.
Okay.
All right, tons. We gotta pick these now too. Did anybody have any particular taunts that they really liked? I kind of like. I mean, both Trevor and I, we have ones where he's utilizing his magic. Mine just he's channeling above his head. But for Trevor's, it's him kind of like practicing with it. And he kind of like shoots a spark down to the ground. I'm imagining he probably has like a bit of a surprise look on his face, probably.
Yeah.
And I know, and then I like the one on mine where it's like literally the animation from the game, the surprised look. I like that one a lot.
Mhm. Yeah.
Surprised, I definitely feel has to be in there. That's a classic.
All right.
Is that your up taunt or was it?
I have it down as a side taunt, but whenever I put these on the wiki, I just rearrange based on what ideas. I just put them wherever I think they look
Okay.
good.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair. I have an idea I could pitch to telegraph 3, one from each of us.
Okay, go for it.
Trevor's magic one. That doesn't telegraph into it, but toss Trevor a bone with the magic one. Then you're surprised as maybe an upper side, and my falling to the floor is another animation from the game as a down.
Describe
You can
me
go,
describe the following one to me again, because I wasn't following that one the first time.
got it. I'm gonna try and look up the GIF so I can share it in the chat, but I know you can't look at it anyway. He spins around dramatically, so I think it might actually be including his arms lifting into the air, if I recall, and falls to the floor. Then he comes back up a moment later. I think that might be the only salvageable taunt that I have. Because one is the chicken blocking from the fair, which no one understood the vision on.
I mean, I don't think
and then-
Trevor was talking shit on it. I was. Trevor, do you remember? Is that a
talking shit on
thing,
it,
or is
were
Jonno
you?
fucking with me? I'm not paying attention to that. Trevor, is the chicken blocking a thing, or is he making that up?
I really don't remember this. It's also been years since I've played Chrono Trigger.
Okay.
But I the only thing I see when I see of chicken blocking in my mind's eye is the SpongeBob meme. So I don't think it is.
I'm trying to look it up and see, but so far I'm not getting. Well, somebody else made a taunt where he does that apparently, so maybe it is a thing because Jonno's not the only one that came up with that.
Oh,
So I'm more inclined to believe that's a thing now.
okay.
I'm trying to find a video, but oh my god. Okay, anyway. And then my other taunt was the victory pose, so that's obviously out of the picture. Trevor, what were your other taunts? I know there was one where he's jumping through a portal and then quickly jumps back out.
There was
Apparently,
that.
you
There
do
was
it
the
for the
spark of
mayor.
magic, and there was
Oh,
I'd spitball like a friend briefly appears.
oh, the friend chat. Yeah.
I kind of like Lister's magic charge, to be completely honest.
Apparently,
fair.
the
Okay.
mayor will give you 10 gold if you act like a chicken in front of him.
There you go.
We are sorry, Jonathan. You were correct.
I am inclined to include the chicken blocking now.
Yeah. Yeah.
victory, and all I had to do was wear Garfield.
I'm gonna burn that shirt.
He's actually on his way out. See how he's kind of lost his luster. This is just a little
Never
pajama
had
shirt
any.
now. Yeah. Well, he had stronger
All right,
days.
all
like
right. Are we
Mufasa.
happy with these taunts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to recap, we've got the shocked-looking one, shooting a spark at the ground, and the chicken barking. And then our victory poses are the victory animation, the cat, and sleeping by the campfire.
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
let's get into the real bitch of it all, the moveset. Trevor, why don't you start us off and give us your standard special, sir?
My standard special was going to be a magic release. Now, as usual, I've tied my moves in with the unique factor that we tie in every time. So, depending on what element Crono is currently channeling, it changes properties slightly. So, charging. So, all elements require a slight half-second charge before release, but only after the element has been switched into and not switched out of.
Mhm.
And it releases a bolt of said element after the standard special button is pressed again.
hmm
It can be aimed slightly if you angle up or down with the control stick after standard special, but since Chrono's element in the game is electricity, it is. I'm being beaten to death very slowly with a very inefficient weapon. Just to let you know,
I
guys.
think you stole his move. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, so at first it's a lightning bolt that is very thin and can. I'm going to put gravity with this lightning bolt arc, but not a whole lot. So it's kind of like Link's bow. But
Mhm.
when your element is water, it then pushes a fast but non-damaging jet that just pushes people away. If your element is fire, your projectile magic doesn't go very far, but it also ignites people, like the super spicy curry would. If your element is shadow, then you release a very, very slow shadow orb that has very high knockback.
And Mewtwo
However,
looks over pissed off, it's like, motherfucker stole my move.
so that's my standard special.
All right. For mine, well, no, you didn't. Jonno was wrong. You didn't do what I did. My move set is kind of a whole concept, so we'll kind of see what happens here. But I built this all around the tech system, all the special moves in the game. I built this around techs and how they work. So our standard special for Crono that I self-developed is Wind Slash. So Wind Slash will have Crono swing his blade upwards, which creates a crescent-shaped blade of wind that trails through the air in a straight line. The projectile will get smaller the farther it travels, but it also deals more damage the farther it travels.
Mhm.
But that's not all that happens here. That's if you just press the special move button. If instead you hold it down, this move changes entirely. It is no longer Wind Slash, it is now X Strike. We're bringing in the double text. So, by holding down the special button, Frog will appear some distance above Crono on the map, and if there's like a platform in the way, then he'll appear like a shorter distance away. But this move will now change it from being a projectile-based move to being a move where both Crono and Frog will dash forwards in different directions. Though Crono will go diagonally up, Frog will go diagonally down. X strike, they make an X. Naturally, if there's something, either an item or an opponent or something that's like at that cross section of where they would slash and join their attack together, extra damage is dealt there. That's the sweet spot of the move. You want to try and get the distance so that whoever you hit is in that X.
All right,
Baby, 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 baby.
that's pretty cool.
Frog does appear, and that makes me pleased.
Now, how about you, John?
Oh. How about I? How about I?
Yes. How about you?
Oh, you know what they say. Uh, my standard special is cleave. So, Crono leaps forward and he cleaves down his katana. On its own, it deals decent damage and knockback, and is one of the few standard specials to bring the character forward to. You know, it's not a side or an up, but can be seen as kind of a recovery, or he's charging up and dashing maybe a few Kirby's forward, whatever. So that's a secondary recovery move. Charging the attack, however, Crono will leap further and hit harder. But it won't be the only change at full charge. Give Crono a full charge with this move, and one of his party members, either Marl or Luca, will appear with Crono. They will lift their arms up and bless his sword with ice or fire. If Crono's sword connects with an opponent, with Marl blessing it with ice, it'll be like they're hit by a Mr. Freezy. If it's Luca who appears and blesses it by breaking out her flamethrower and shooting it at his sword, it'll instead be similar to like a less powerful bomb. So like Roy's Flare Blade, but maybe a little less devastating.
All right.
Bada bing, bada boom. Turkeys, Dr. Doom.
Cadillac.
Cadillac, yeah.
All right, Trevor. What is
Would
your
be an
side
expensive
special?
drink.
My side special, it operates in a way that's similar to your X Slash, whereas it's a side moving special where it's affected by, once again, by the element that Crono has. So if your element is water as per se, then it is exactly your X Slash. If your element is lightning, then instead of slashing forward, Crono is thrown forward by Isla in the boulder toss style animation and arcs a bit more upward in trajectory than X Slash. If your element is fire, then Crono is propelled directly forward and sometimes uncontrollably by Robo's fist. And if your element is shadow, then Crono disappears into a black hole and reappears about 3 Chrono links away immediately, where the black hole he steps out of does slight damage to anybody that's caught in it.
Very cool. I like how we all have the party members appear with Crono. Speaks to the French. Okay. Hello.
What's up?
just in time for your side special.
All right. Well, my side special is going to be Cyclone. It's another one of Crono's single techs. So Crono's going to be rapidly spinning around himself with a sword outstretched around him, allowing him to slash opponents next to him several times. This is kind of similar visually to both Rob's Arm Rotor and Link's Spin Slash, but it doesn't get him up into the air, so it's more akin to Roto Arm. And by tilting the control stick, you can kind of like go a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. Like with Wind Slash, though, if instead of just tapping the button, you hold it down for a second, the move changes into Supersonic Spin, another one of Crono's double techs. This time around, Robo will appear from below Crono and will hoist Crono up onto his shoulders. At this point, the move plays pretty much the exact same way as Cyclone, except now Crono is taller because he's standing on top of Robo's shoulders, so there's more range to the attack, and Robo is also holding up his arms at the same time as they spin around together, so better height and more damage at the same time. Because the move is now Supersonic Spin.
Very nice. My side special is Cyclone, one of Crono's single techs. Yeah, and I have it where he's moving forward about 3 Kirby's in distance when uncharged, can deflect projectiles really quickly, and Crono will even be able to move around in the air and move around kind of like an actual cyclone the further that the move is charged. Now, at full charge, Robo appears, and Crono will stand on Robo's shoulders and hold out his arms as they spin around for dear life. And extends the moves even further. Robo is like this heavy metal hitbox. It's good times. Unique move, yes.
We have the exact same concept, don't we?
Yeah. Well, singles and doubles, maybe triples if you're feeling zesty.
We'll see how that goes. All
Yep.
right, Trevor, why don't you go ahead and give us your up special now?
My up special. So before I had worked into the elemental aspect, I had this as antipode jump,
Okay.
which is not a move that Chrono usually has, but considering that I had incorporated the elements, it's going to be, well, elemental geyser. So unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of variation that can come a lot out of it, except for that lightning elemental. Chrono can move diagonally like Pikachu, but twice. For water elemental, it's large shot straight upward. For fire elemental, there's a controlled upward burn with flames below Chrono that lasts for about 2 seconds, and we're talking slow like Bowser's spin.
Okay.
And then for shadow element, it would be akin to Mewtwo's teleport, except there's no damage for this, and it leaves Chrono in the helpless state after he's ripped upward.
Mewtwo, again, off the side. What the fuck, man? You're stealing my moves. That's twice now. What's next? Confusion? How
Mm.
funny, considering that's one of Chrono's moves.
I mean, it's like Frenzy, right?
Yes, actually. Because they localized it.
Mhm.
All right. So up special. My turn now. So my up special is cleave. So for cleave, Chrono will leap high up into the air, and once he's at the peak of his jump, he's going to draw his sword. He's just going to start diving downwards to an opponent below him, like so many other up specials are in Smash. There's a lot of them that do the same kind of a deal. Okay, I lost the line I was reading there. Whoops. Okay. But then, like my other two, if you hold down the button for a second or two, the move changes into a double tech. This time it's Fire Sword. Instead of like how Jonno has his cleave where Maro or Luca can appear, I'm assuming 50-50 at random. For this one, it's just Luca will appear for this one. Luca is going to imbue Crono's sword with fire as he's leaping up, so flames will kind of like trail with him, but they're really just aesthetic. They're not damaging flames. But then when he leans downward and either hits an opponent or hits the stage, there is a burst of fire that will erupt on contact with the ground or opponent.
Mhm. Oh, nice. Very nice.
How about you?
Yes, of course, indeed. My up special is Falcon Strike. Chrono dashes upwards, and he has a trail of after images following him as he slashes into the air in a frenzy. So his sword's hitbox kind of just wildly surrounds him during the move, and it staves off a lot of melee attacks and projectiles along the way. Uncharged, it takes him about as high as Marth's Dolphin Slash and about as quickly as well. Charge it, and Isla will appear, and she'll just grab him and just yeet him upward, just throw him high into the sky, and he's encapsulated in kind of like a fiery white magic as he slashes around. So this allows him to travel about a half pace higher, so like 1.5 times as high as Dolphin Slash. And then he engages in free fall at the end of the move. Whereas he can just cancel out of the standard, just after image, quick trip up, kind of like an upwards box illusion, as he cuts out of his standard version. So again, he can cancel out of the standard and charge his free fall.
All right.
Mhm.
Trevor, why don't you go ahead and give us your down special now?
It's Hickam, isn't it?
Yeah, he's muted.
Oh, sorry, I forgot I wasn't pushed to talk.
Nice.
Okay, that's pathetic, Trevor. Okay, so my down special was going to be cleave that as well, but after incorporating elemental attributes, I decided to use the elemental strikes for this. So essentially, it would be the same as the standard special cleave that Jonathan introduced earlier,
Mhm.
except for that once again the elements change the properties slightly,
Mhm.
and it just affects the shockwave around where Crono is hitting. So water
Got it.
elemental will cause a splash after the initial area is hit. Fire will cause two small flames to burst, kind of like Roy's down special held. Shadow will just cause high knockback, and then lightning will cause a brief stun period after being hit directly with the sword. Also, after this attack is done, then Chrono's regular attacks are imbued with this element for 5 seconds.
Nice.
Okay. Before I get
It,
into... Hmm?
nothing.
Okay. Before I get into my down special, something I wanted to note, like, how I was kind of approaching some of these, and I couldn't do this for every single one, but because the double text in Chrono Trigger, they require two specific single texts from both participating characters in order to use them. X-Strike is one that I kind of had to meddle with a little bit because Wind Slash isn't used in anything. But X-Strike is Cyclone and Slurp Slash from Frog, whereas Fire Sword is Cleave and Fire. Then Supersonic Spin is Cyclone and Laser Spin. So I was able to match it up correctly with some of these, but I couldn't really do it with everything because just the way things map out. But for my down special, we are now going to be doing Frenzy. So for Frenzy, Crono will perform a short dash forwards. If he strikes an opponent, he will unleash a storm of frenzied sword strikes upon them. If Crono, and these are going to be like pretty high damaging attacks, he's just like essentially trapping you in this little attack and hitting you for high damage. But it's a risky attack. If Crono misses with this attack, then he will fall to the ground in a crumple state and take damage from his own rage. I came up with this concept because the original name for the move Frenzy in the SNES version of the game was Confuse. So I thought that kind of made some sense. Plus, the animation kind of looks like he's stuck in a rage-fueled frenzy. So I was like, sure, why not? Like everything else, there's a double tech attached to this. If you hold down the button, Mara will appear as this move turns into Ice Sword. Ice Sword works with Cleave in the game, but I couldn't really match it with anything. But for this version, with Marl, she'll imbue Crono's sword with ice magic, so that when he's using Frenzy now against somebody, it's going to do less damage overall, but has a high chance to freeze the opponent when the attack is over. Much like the original version of Frenzy, however, there is a drawback. If Crono misses, he will take damage, but instead of crumpling to the ground, he will have a high chance of being frozen.
Nice. You done did it.
I did.
And now for my down special, which is Wind Slash, which if I recall showed up somewhere. I just
Yeah.
um
It did.
yeah, okay. Crono slashes downwards with his sword, and he releases a verdant slice of wind that travels forward. Again, a few character lengths forward, uncharged. Fully charged, the gust will travel about twice as far and dish out more damage. The further that it comes from, the further that it travels from Crono, it'll deal out a little more. Magus appears, which is non-canonical because he does not
has
have a
no
double
double text
Crono,
at all. He doesn't have any in the
which
game.
is
He
yeah,
has no double text.
which is bizarre. But so it goes. But here, I decided to have Magus assist Crono with Dark Mist. So changing the wind's properties to kind of like shadow effects. So it deals persistent shadow damage with slowdown imbued into the wind slash that is sent out. And so it deals a little extra knockback, and it's just a very quick kind of keep away move. There you go.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Final smash time.
Oh, Lord.
Trevor.
I have a Delta Force as my final smash for Crono. After activating this final smash, both Meryl and Luca pair and quickly run in a triangle formation from Crono and start charging their respective elements. White triangle line is then formed between the three, and any opposing character that is within that will then be sent into the screen where Crono, Meryl, and Luca work together to charge a multi-elemental blast and do 40 damage with high knockback to everybody inside as they are trapped in the magical in-between vortex zone from where Crono learns his magic.
All right.
Cool.
So my final smash originally was Delta Force. But then I decided, you know what? Why stop there? And then I was going to make it Delta Spin Strike.
Ooh.
And I was going to combine two triple techs together. But then I decided, why stop there? So I give you Delta Strike Omega. Here's how it
Okay.
works. A large time gate will appear in front of Crono. And I'm talking big. Any opponents that are either in that space or like it hangs open for like second and a half, somewhere in that general range. Anybody that enters that field before while it's up will become trapped. The time gate will close, collapse in on itself, as we transition to a cinematic. The end of time. There, Crono and his entire party are waiting. We begin with Crono, Maro, and Luca using Delta Force, creating a triangular prism of magical energy that goes from fire to ice to lightning, striking everybody in its zone with that kind of magical damage. As this occurs, Frog, Robo, and Ayla are using their own triple tech, Spin Strike, which sees Robo and Ayla running around rapidly around the magical prism. As Frog leaps up into the air, and like the dragoons of Final Fantasy, he will just land, go back up, land, go back up, land, go back up, just stabbing at the opponents as they're being burned, frozen, and shocked alive. How he's immune to this, don't know. We'll just say it's the power of friendship. But here's where there's more to it than that. As the magical prism is fading away and Frog is landing his final jump, a triangle. Why did I say that weird? A triangle that seems to be reflecting the cosmos itself appears on the ground below the fighters. As a dark wave of energy pulses upwards, sending Frog flying away because it's funny. And the camera cuts away, or not cuts away, but it pans back to show Magus standing alone because he has no double touch with anybody else, and he does have some triple techs, interestingly enough. But it pans over to Magus, who's just laughing, he's doing his laughing animation from Chrono Trigger, because they didn't invite him to the party, but he showed up anyways. And the move that he's specifically using, I have to check it real quick. Dark Matter, I believe, is the attack that he's using. I called his part of it Omega because one of his triple techs is Omega Flare. But it's not exactly Omega Flare, because that's more of a satellite-guided laser? What the fuck? But Omega sounds cool. In calling the move Delta Strike Dark or Matter, didn't flow. So I went with Delta Strike Omega. Originally, Magus wasn't involved, and I was just like, you know what? Let's have him just show up because he feels like it.
Bring the boy in.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and interestingly enough, I pulled back a little bit on this Final Smash. It's the only one that's not CGI, very least. So that's where that's the hill that we can die on with it. It's Luminaire.
Okay.
It's Luminaire. Chrono raises his hands as he lifts upward towards the sky. Beams of light kind of pierce through him as he begins to float, and it culminates in this massive green energy blast that just emerges from his body. So as it does, the screen is occasionally flashing white, and it kind of obscures movement for a few seconds for his opponents, and spans about 3/4 the size of battlefield. Trap spells caught in it, and then brings them in towards Crono, like kind of like a black hole pull, for one final, more concentrated explosion with heavy knockback, and done.
All right. Extra skills. Trevor, I feel like I have an idea of what yours is. Why don't you go ahead and explain it to us?
Nah, I think you guys should really try to figure it out based upon like little breadcrumbs that I sprinkled in. You know?
Is it? Hang on. Let me get this. He loses his ability to jump for 10 seconds, but he also gets incredibly increased weight, so it's harder to launch him off the stage.
You're very, very close.
Damn it.
Very close.
Fuck.
See, it's essentially that, but not horrible. So,
Not that at all. Wow.
yeah, my extra skill was going to be element changes, since every character has their own element in the game, and those play a whole lot into doing the double and triple text that are part of what's fun to mix in the game. I really wanted Crono to be able to have access and mix and match at any moment, so I wanted to give him the ability to be able to shield B to on the spot switch an element and switch the properties of all of his attacks. So it's almost like, also there's 4 varieties of Crono that you can go for, based upon which friend is backing him up. But yeah, that's. I don't think I have to explain too much further. If you guys have questions, please.
I
Give
mean,
him-
he's
but
swapped between. I assume default he's lightning. I assume.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then I'm guessing the order probably goes in fire, water, and then shadow. Or am I missing an element?
Yes. That was the element pattern I had.
Okay.
Yeah.
I assume that because the order of party members.
Yeah, that's exactly how it went.
Okay. Poor Robo and Ayla.
Oh well, double elements.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, Shaho Dun appears.
Oh yeah, he eats his eyeball too. And then he throws it at you. And it's magically
He
charged.
encourages
element.
Crono to do the same.
Yeah, and then Crono gets a really cool eye patch.
I'm gonna just say
That's right.
I understand why Robo doesn't get any magic affinity, but I feel like Ayla got robbed. Ayla
There
should
could
have
be
had
so
Earth
much
Element.
Ayla.
Earth Element would have made a lot of sense.
Especially with Boulder Toss already there.
Yeah.
It's not hard to reach for, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard.
It's like I get their explanation of,
Not for her,
oh,
but-
magic didn't exist in her time yet. It's like, okay, bullshit. Why not make it exist?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It just seems weird to have 2 party members that can't do magic. Eh. Personal nitpick.
I mean, I get it, like trying to learning to balance the party, like early RPG wise, but like.
But you've
struggles
already
with
got
that.
Robo by that point. Robo's
True,
in your party
true.
then. Wow. Speaking of magic, though, and Ayla, my extra skill. Here we're getting into the use of magic. Crono's going to use lightning. He's going to channel a bolt of lightning through his sword before he swings it forwards, and he just sends a bolt of electricity that flies straight forwards horizontally. It's just going to do like a medium distance. It moves quick, but Chrono also cannot spam this attack. So he can't just go like zap, zap, zap. It's not a Fox Blast kind of situation. He's got to wait a bit before he can, just like
Mhm.
send another one. But of course, there's a double tech attached to this one. And who has a double tech attached to Chrono's Lightning that also hasn't been used yet, which should be fucking easy because Magus doesn't have double techs at all?
Ayla.
Ayla, thank you. So for this one, with its double tech, Ayla will appear in front of Chrono. So we've had one that appears below, above, two that appear like just next to his side, and now one's going to appear in front of him. Chrono will fire the electric bolt into Ayla. Ayla is essentially going to be supercharged by this, as she uses the move Thunder Chomp. So Ayla is going to just like run and pounce forwards like a fucking wild animal that's just like got lightning zipping all around her body as a terrifying force. And if she's able to latch onto, if she runs into an opponent, she will jump onto them and just like bite down on them in like general shoulder area, and just deal multiple hits of electric damage. If you are a Street Fighter player and you know Blanca, it's that where Blanca latches onto you and just like bites down and electrocutes the fuck out of you. That's what Ayla's doing here. Thunder Chomp.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's
Okay.
crazy. That's cool.
Wrap this baby up with my extra skill, lightning.
Shocking.
But you've already used
Very,
Ayla, so
yes.
what's happening here?
Yes. So Chrono, he summons the blue bolt of lightning that comes crashing down. It's really fast. Blah blah blah. Charge the move. Not Ayla, but Frog will appear. As he is hit with a bolt of lightning that catches onto his sword, Masamune, and he jumps around using Spire as he's caught up in lightning, slashing at his opponents as he leaps around the stage, and eventually disappears. Done.
All right. So we all had a similar idea of involving Chrono's allies with his attacks. Jonno and I went probably the more direct route with the double text and summoning his friends next to him. Trevor, you went with the elemental changes, representing technically most of the party because poor Robo and Ayla got robbed.
Oh yeah.
This might be one of the most difficult ones we've had before, in my opinion, because all three of our concepts, I think, get broken by each other. I don't know how. Like, I think Jonno and I, we can kind of meld it a bit. Some characters have to like be swapped around different places, but that sounds like a mess. What do you guys think? Because
Oh god.
I only see one potential solution here, and I don't like it based on how we do the show. But I want to hear what you guys think first.
Honestly, you can go ahead.
Oh no, you said honestly, so you can go first. I want you to have your Billy Joel moment.
Honestly, like most of the times when we do this episode, I just think the cool ideas that I could couple with a unique ability, and forget to think that these things need to be able to mix and match at the end of the episode.
We've had
And
that
I
problem a
definitely-
few times.
Yeah. I definitely acknowledge
Not
that
just
for
with
sure,
you, not
and
just us.
yeah, those ideas can definitely be implemented without said ability, but then it just also turns them back into upward special save, wind slash,
Yeah.
magic bolt, and cleave, which are things that you guys have as well. So we could probably distill what I have back into those to make, for simplicity's sake, and then just have the idea of the elements as presented as a possible unique ability.
I have an idea.
What's your
It
idea?
is because most of Trevor's moveset veers into a different territory than ours and exists in its own plane. As you said, it's not how we do the show. We can have 2 movesets uploaded to Smashtopia. One being Trevor's, which is very correct and valid in itself and deserves to have a spot. And the other being you and I deliberating how to pare down ours into a singular set.
That is more or less where my mind was at. Because like I hate it because, you know, we're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to take our ideas and like meld them together. But I also never like it when one person just gets shut out. I hate that. Because this is supposed to be a collaborative effort. And I'm not saying, Trevor, that like that you are the reason behind this at all, because you mentioned like we have to have things that can meld together. The last episode we did this for, we did a redo of Byleth's move set. Jonno and I both came up with movesets again that were not strictly easy to combine together based on the concepts that we went with. We were able to, but it took a little bit of work. And I actually created 2 movesets for Byleth, and one of them had to be completely tossed out because it did not jive with everything else that we were doing.
Yeah. It happened with Eric, and his moveset for Lynn as well was difficult to
Lynn was a
incorporate.
very difficult one to work on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just boneheaded it and forgot about the whole aspect of like, wait, we gotta choose one. You need to make something that's choosable. So I definitely have kind of shirked my responsibility there, and I'll admit that. So
don't blame yourself on that. That you came up with a very unique concept. In that, all honesty, might be what's more likely to happen in Smash. Except you know, Smash doesn't have an extra skill, but they'd probably just kill off one of the other moves and just put up the down special because that's what they do. Because Sakurai, it's very Sakurai to do something like, oh, they all taught Crono their elements, so he can do them too, because I don't want to summon extra character models. Fuck that.
Oh, yeah.
That more or less happened with a couple of... Sorry?
It'd be fun to have multiple character models, but yeah, expensive.
I want to make a... Yeah. I mean, I have a summoning character on the wiki. The summoner character from Fire Emblem Heroes, I made him a moveset. In each of his moves, he summons a different character based on a weapon type, and they do a different attack.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
I was going to say it pretty much happened to me this season too with a couple of our characters. Like Poochie, I was almost entirely shut out of the moveset on, and we adapted, I think, Pup Toss into an up special because that's just how it works out sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to meld things together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So here's what I'll do for the sake of R3 is the only real unique thing I would add if I take out that extra ability would be basically the pop-up jump. So let's just say that that's the only thing that we would consider and go from there. And I doubt we would consider it because you guys have some pretty cool ideas for up special.
Remind me what pop-up jump was.
That was the elemental jump up that has different properties depending on different elements, but essentially it's some semi-quick upward with some side maneuverability upward movement. So
does it only go up or does it come back down as well?
It comes back down as well, and you're in free fall after use.
Okay, so that sounds like my cleave then, or very similar to it.
Yeah, so I don't think I bring anything all that unique for that, so I think we can effectively and safely just go between year two and consider those, and it would pretty much still encompass what I had thought too.
Okay.
Trevor, it was fine having you on the show.
We'll see you next time. No, we're kidding. We're kidding.
No, kidding. Just kidding. No. You're a voice worth having. Still, we can use your help. Okay. Well, I think that it's let's move forward that way then.
All right.
Breaking our own rules. Let's do it.
So, Jonno, let's talk about our movesets then at this point, I guess. So, just going to do a very quick rundown of what they all are. My standard was Wind Slash into Extract with Frog. My side was Cyclone into Supersonic Spin with Robo. My up special was Cleave into Fire Sword with Luca. My down special is Frenzy into Ice Sword with Marl. And my extra skill was Lightning into Thunder Chump with Ayla. And my final smash was Delta Strike Omega, which involved everybody.
My standard was Cleave, which incorporates elements of Ice Sword and Fire Sword. Kind of interchangeable, happens one after another. So, go one charge has Mara with Ice Sword, the next charge will have Luca with Fire Sword.
Okay.
Side is Cyclone. Charge it up and Robo appears and they do the things almost entirely. It's very much yours.
Yeah, we have the exact same one there.
Yeah, so that's easy. Let's move that on. Up special is Falcon Strike, using Ayla.
What the fuck is Falcon Strike? Because I don't see that anywhere on the wiki.
It's the one with him.
Oh, here. Okay,
it's.
I see. It's just straight up the double tech. There's not a single tech before it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where I was confused.
Got it. Okay, that's fair. My down special is Wind Slash, with Magus breaking cannon, using Dark Mist to help him on the charge. Final smash was Luminaire, a solo tech. And extra skill is Lightning, but instead of Ayla being there, it is Frog. Same thing, except instead of chomping, he's kind of just jumping around and slashing around. Okay, there's a few things I think we can do right out of the gate.
Supersonic Spin and Cyclone.
The what? Yeah, yes. The side special, obviously, it's the same freaking thing. We'll move it forward. Number 2, extra skill is literally almost exactly the same as well. I like yours better because the imagery of Ayla chomping on people is funnier. I concur with that. Final smash. One is not necessarily better than the other, but I think that yours encompasses the idea of the moveset better, where you're having all of the party members come in. That's kind of the vibe of all the special. So I'd like to move that one forward as well.
Okay.
That's the easy stuff.
Yes.
We still have a down, an up, and a standard. Although my up uses Ayla already, so that might be an easy in for your up. But your up is Cleave, which is my standard.
Which is a domino effect. It's like, as soon as you pick one, you pick them all, it feels like. Unless we can, look really quick at the other techs that are involved. But I don't remember them all offhand enough. And I'd have to pull up a video to see all the animations.
Let's see, your Cleave. And then what the side is X/ on your end and Cyclone on mine.
Standard on mine is Wind Slash, X/.
Right. Standard is Wind Slash, X/. Down is Wind Slash on mine. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we did this before with another character or two, where we had the same literal domino effect type thing. It's like, okay, the way that we both structure these moves, as soon as we pick one move, we pick all the moves.
It happened with Gengar, which was a long discussion.
I think Byleth had it to a degree.
Yep.
I'm not sure if it happened
Gengar
to
was
this
actually
full.
worked out to be pretty.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. So your Cleave with Luca, you're down with the good lord. Okay. How do we do this?
Trevor, let's put it this way. Trevor, what do you think about our two movesets and how they are set up compared to one another?
Comparatively, honestly, Lester, I really like all of the double, triple tech, or mostly double tech, incorporated into your move sets. Not only that, but like in terms of like a fun, slightly competitive idea for that sweet spot move for your X strike. Even though it's just a small detail that we could really add to like either of the X strike implementations,
Mhm.
the fact that you've considered this with the move, um, I just feel like if I were playing Chrono, that would be a whole lot of fun to set up and get. I just
Yeah, it
kind of
would
want
be.
to.
The funny thing about that move is that until I actually sat down to write it down in better detail today, I had in my mind, it's like, okay, so Frog appears next to Chrono, and they both dash out at an X. And as I'm writing this down, it's like, wait a minute, this doesn't make an X, this makes a V. Because they're next to each other. Fuck, how do I fix this? Frog just appears magically in the air above him. Fuck it, done. I was just like, this is the next strike. How do I fix this?
Mm-hmm.
See, yeah, there's that, but also I like Jonathan's cleave idea.
What was the difference between our cleaves? Oh, that's right.
I
Yours
don't
was
think his
like
in the
a
air.
yeah.
Yours-
Yours wasn't a jump. Yours was just like a dash forwards.
It was
Yeah,
both. It was kind of it was not a traditional jump, but you are jumping a few feet into the air, so there's a little upwards trajectory. But yeah, it's mostly a dash forward.
all right, all right. I kind of like the movement with
Yeah.
that cleave. I mean, if we were to take that, then obviously that locks us out of upward options. But
Unless we used your jump.
I mean, we could also workshop something really cool together. Like, what if we did a live brainstorming of an up special?
We'd have to do it very quick because we are running extremely low on time.
Okay, well,
um,
that's up to you guys, I guess.
the only thing I would be able to think of off the top of my head is something that adapts the top end of the Falcon Strike with just the after image kind of Fox Illusion ripoff. That's the only starter I can think of.
By that, are you saying give the after image effect to my up special cleave, or are you saying something else?
Oh, I don't know. Frankly, it's just starting the move up with that, and I guess something else. I'm just posing Falcon Strike can be Falcon Strike, but what party member would you use if Ayla's already in use? That's the difficult part.
Nobody, because
Yeah.
that's Ayla's double tech.
Mm-hmm. Can it be Cadillac that comes in and just throws Crono?
Yeah.
Or the mayor?
It can
Or
be
Chrono's
it
mom?
can be the cave woman girl in Chrono Cross who's Ayla's ancestor.
Oh, there you go.
Because
They could
they
be
went there,
Luthor from the Super
apparently.
Mario Bros. 3 show. Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
Eddie the Mean Old
yeah,
Daddy.
they did some weird crosses with Trigger and Cross, as far as I remember.
The
Yeah.
interesting thing is I played
Somehow
Cross and I
must have
didn't know
known
about
it
Trigger
correctly.
when I played Cross, so I'm just like, I don't know what this means. Ah.
Good lord. At this point, looks like we're into the old Texas draw, my friends, where our movesets seem to be relatively incompatible with one another's.
I did mention this.
Yes. So, at this point, what are we saying? Is Trevor's moveset being separately uploaded, and mine and yours?
Honestly,
And if that happens, which one is canon to this episode?
all of them. It's a multiverse. He time travels. Like when I was
Oh
saying
my
earlier
God.
that I had one solution and that I didn't like it because of the nature of how we do these episodes, you responded saying that we split Trevor's moveset out and that you and I work on it. But in my mind, I was actually going to suggest we all submit our own separately because there's no way to combine these. It's the only thing we can combine is the taunts and victory poses and whatnot.
What if
Yeah.
our move sets were if the timelines branch differently for Chrono Trigger, and each of them represents different things that would have happened.
Their
We're also getting very
variants.
Marvel here.
Their
What was
variants.
Yeah, someone call in Jonathan.
The prime
Majors.
timeline has been broken. The rules are shattering. He who remains has fallen.
I cannot believe that this just happened.
What else can we do? What can we do here?
I know.
Like again, it's the way these moves are set up. It's yours, or mine. There's not a good way that any of these can be combined. I mean, the only way that we can combine anything is we take one person's moveset, but we give them somebody else's final smash. That's it. That's the only possible way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
I
at this
would
point,
honestly,
I like the idea.
yeah, I would honestly rather see all three of us get our full moveset to be put up on the wiki, because anything else is a bastardization and it hurts any of our movesets. Honestly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
We'd
that
have
means-
to add
so
in
that
another
means-
hour of workshopping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That means that this whole episode doesn't matter. And it also means that, hey, all of our taunts and victory poses, we're just going to set them in with what we created initially. Because
my
there's
God.
no point in combining them. So, Trevor, I hope you wrote down good notes. Ha!
Oh yeah.
Good. Because either you'll have to put it up on the wiki yourself, or you'll have to give them to one of us and we'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
give it to one of
Yeah.
us since we can format it.
All
I
right.
mean, yeah. You guys give me formatting tools.
Oh. Yeah,
I-
easy. We'll talk about it after this is over.
Cool.
Since we are running out of time, though, I'm just going to go ahead and confirm real quick. Are we all good with this plan? To post 3
Yes.
separate Crono movesets to the wiki.
Sounds fun.
All right. So then we got 3 more things technically to discuss. First of all, any unique traits, extra jumps in the air, wall jumping, crawling, any of that. I didn't give him anything of that sort. Looks like Jonno didn't. What about
Me
you, Trevor?
either.
Nothing?
No,
Cool.
I didn't.
We all agree. Ha ha! Joy. And then
For once.
alternate costumes. For me, all my, they're recolors, but the recolors based on specific characters. So I've got, obviously, Maro, Luca, Frog, Robo, Ayla, Magus, but then I also decided to throw in Surge and Kid from Chrono Cross. And then, maybe a bit of a wild one, I considered Lynx, but instead I decided to do a Lavos-themed color outfit.
Ooh.
Yeah. Did you guys have anything specific for your costumes?
Yes. Like you, all the party members. I didn't go the Chrono Cross route. Instead, I had a Lavos one as well as Slash and Chrono's mom.
All right. And
Yeah.
On stage.
yes, home stage. I did the Millennial Fair because I thought that it's the
Nice.
first place you go to in the game. It's less of a place, more of an event. So it's like it's that town square, but as the Millennial Fair is going on, so you'll see the race going on in the background with Cadillac and the others. You'll see like the little fortune teller's tent. You'll see Gato singing, and maybe it'll be kind of like what Magic Hand does. Maybe there'll be like time portals opening up in the sky, showing you different events that happen in Chrono Trigger, like from the different time periods. Like you might see the characters racing, or you might see something from the prehistoric time. Just some little fun things to throw in there, because why the fuck not?
Yeah. Mine is the epic. You're fighting upon it as it travels through time. Kind of northern cave-ish, where it was like a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on in the background, not a whole lot in the foreground. So you're going from 65 million BC all the way to the end of time. Every single little portion of space that you travel through is represented as you fight on the ship. That fair, by the way, Millennial Fair, I think one of the best openings in RPG
It's
history.
really cool.
Oh yeah.
It is.
Like you can skip all of it, really, if you want to. Just go straight to Luca. But why would you? Unless you're speedrunning. But
Mhm.
It's so fun.
yeah.
Do you have a stage in mind, Trevor?
Yeah. So mine wasn't anything nearly as fun or all inclusive as what you guys had. I just wanted to have prehistory as the stage. Playing through the game, that was the part that kind of imprinted most upon me. And just personally, I with like the Lavos meteor falling around this time, with the fights between the cave people and the lizard people, and I kind of
Really
get a
reminds
kick
me
out
of
of the boss lizard person, as a bit of comedic relief while being evil. I kind of like to see them
Just like our own.
worrying in the background or different little things that happen during the prehistory portion of Chrono Trigger. Plus, like, Age of Dinosaurs is pretty fun, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
All
cool.
right.
Well, holy cow.
So that's it. Then we've all got our own Crono move sets. Some similarities, some differences. I think the real question to ask here is, which one is Crono and which one's the Tulpa? Hey,
Now there's two
who's-
of them, too.
there's our
Nice.
canon explanation for why there's multiple Chronos. We've done it. We saved the
Hey!
day.
Just say they're our own. There you go.
Yeah, obviously. All right, so I think that's the end of this one. Next time, we're doing our penultimate Smash Dash episode of the season, and you know we like to make it pick some characters that are little odd choices, and then also just like a pairing of non-video game characters because, fuck it, why not?
Mhm.
We'll see you all then. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.